Hello, friends. Welcome to the second episode of the series GST in Pictures. In the first series, we have learned about aggregate turnover, taxable turnover. In this particular episode, we are going to learn about two very important concepts, that is composite supply and mixed supply. And to go along with this, we will also try to understand which are the other kinds of supplies that we have under the concept of GST. Now, if I have to say what are the topics covered, we have types of supply, meaning and examples of composite supply, meaning and examples of mixed supply. Now, as I've been mentioning, in the earlier sessions as well, I have mentioned that the entire tax law of GST is hollow in the absence of the concept of supply. Or rather, you can say the concept of supply gives oxygen to the law called GST. Because if we minus the concept of supply from GST, only the name will remain, nothing else will remain. So that's why we say supply is the heart of GST. Now let's understand through picture which are the various kinds of supply. So I classify supply into three categories. First one, I call it as composite supply. Then second, I have made a list under other supplies, and third one is mixed supply. Now, as far as composite supply is concerned, here we are going to identify two very important aspects. The first one is which among the supplies is principal supply. So two or more taxable supplies are made available to the recipient. Out of those, one being the principal supply, the most important one. In the absence of principal supply, the other supplies become irrelevant. For example, if I say I buy a laptop and I am given with charger and I am given with a carry case. If not for laptop, no use of charger, there is no question of carry case. So the laptop in this example becomes principal supply. We will understand more about it. So laptop and carry case is the example. As far as other supplies are concerned, we have exempt supplies, nil rated supplies, and zero rated supplies. Exempt supplies which are not under the purview of GST. Nil rated, more or less all your agriculture items, vegetables, all the basic necessities in life, rice and all other items come under the category of nil rated. Then we have zero rated. As far as zero rated is concerned, we have two very important transactions which are covered under this. First one is any supply of goods or services to a special economic zone or a unit operating in a special economic zone. And the second one is exports. These are the only two transactions which are at present covered under zero rated supply. So that's about other supplies. Then our main focus will be on the next one, that will be mixed supply. So two or more items are given together at one single price. A hamper is made and all taxable supplies are put together. Normally, these items are not given together. These items are usually sold separately. So example that we can take is hamper of canned foods, beverages, cakes, and soft drinks. Now, very important point that we are going to analyze as well in the upcoming slides, and that is what will be the rate of GST in case of composite supply. I mentioned principal supply and ancillary supply. In case of mixed supply, there is no principal, there is no ancillary. All are important supplies itself. So what will be the rate of GST there? Now, in case of composite supply, whatever is the GST rate of principal supply, that will be the rate of GST taken on such a transaction value. That is in case of composite supply. Now, if we are talking about a mixed supply, you may have items put in a hamper where one item is taxed at 12%, another at 18%, another at 5%, another at 28%. Now, what is the rule under GST for mixed supply? The highest rate in that hamper, in that package, whichever supply attracts the highest rate of GST, that will be the rate of GST on that particular transaction value. So highest rate of GST will become applicable because all these items which could have been sold separately are put together in a form of a hamper and it is made available to the recipient at one single price. That is called as mixed supply, when these items could have been sold separately. So the transaction value is available. The highest rate of GST on the item available in that hamper will be calculated on such a transaction value. So we will look at the concept of composite supply as well as mixed supply a little in detail. Now, as far as composite supply is concerned, I put together, say, item A, item B, and item C. Two or more. I have taken three items. We will come back to which are those items. We will take an example. Now, out of item A, item B, and item C, it is because of item A that we have item B and C. It is because of item B that we have item A and C. It is because of item C that we have item A and B. In the absence of the most important supply, principal supply, the other two items would have become irrelevant. So normally in case of composite supply, we say supplied together, supplied conjointly, or naturally bundled, we say putting together. So when the term naturally bundled is given, it's a clear indication that it is an example of composite supply. And as mentioned, any one being a principal supply and the others being only ancillary, related to, connected to the major supply, connected to the principal supply. So the rate of GST applicable with the rate of GST on principal supply. We have already discussed this in the earlier session. Now let's take example. Say item A is a laptop. Let's imagine it attracts a GST of 12%. Say cost of laptop is 60,000. Let's say item B is charger. Say GST rate is 18%. Say cost is 4,000 rupees. And say item C is a carry case or bag. The item rate is 5%. Say cost is 2,500. Now, though I have given you values, I have given you values only for understanding. Remember, in real business situations, this laptop price will be given, one single price will be around, say, 66,500 rupees. They are not going to classify, but just for easy understanding, I have classified the values, but it may not be in the real case. For example, if you purchase a laptop, you will get a bill, you will get a tax invoice, and the tax invoice will only say one number, that is 66,500 rupees. That's all. It is not going to show the breakup for laptop, this is the amount, for charger, this is the amount, for carry case, this is the amount. No. Understand this? One single value, all three items given together. Now, how do we understand the concept of principal supply? Understand, laptop becomes principal supply. Why? If not for laptop, I don't think any person would have been interested in buying a charger or a carry case. Actually, when we buy a laptop, carry case and charger comes together. Though I have given separate prices, I have given it only for understanding. Remember, in the bill, you will have just one single price. It will not be written laptop is 60,000, charger is 4,000, and carry case is 2,500. No. It will only be laptop 66,500 rupees and GST, whether SGST, CGST, or IGST. That will depend upon whether it's an intrastate or interstate transaction. So your laptop becomes the major supply. If not for laptop, charger as well as carry case would not have been required. Now, what will be the rate of GST applicable? So point is very simple. The transaction value here is 66,500 rupees. That is 60,000, 4,000, and 2,500. Transaction value will be 66,500, and the GST rate will be 12%, because we have 12% here, 18% here, and 5% here. So among the three items that you see, laptop is the major supply or the principal supply. So whatever is the rate of GST on laptop in specific, that will be the rate which will be applicable. So 12% is the GST applicable on laptop. So on the entire transaction, 12% will be the rate of GST applicable. So I hope the concept of composite supply is clear, but we have a few examples. Let's look at it. We have the coolant, we have the condenser, and we have the installation part as well. So put together, you can imagine that these two items are of no use without this particular item. So we have to understand that. Similarly, if you have these two items, but if it is not installed, it is of no use at all. So you cannot miss out on any item, but it is because of air conditioner, you have these two, because it forms a part of air conditioner, the outer duct we say. and the installation is a must for air conditioners working. Remember. Similar example of composite supply, we have the laptop, we have the charger, and we have the carry case, which I was just mentioning in the earlier slide. Then we have a two-wheeler and we have insurance. Now there is a lot of debate or discussion whether this can be treated as a composite supply. Now I have to inform all my viewers, today if you go to buy a two-wheeler or for that matter a car, government has made it compulsory that when you buy a vehicle, whether a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, a 2 years, 3 years, 5 years insurance is compulsory. So before that vehicle can come out of the showroom, a 2 years to 3 years to 5 years insurance is given along with the purchase price of that vehicle. So today it is called as a composite supply, because if you are buying a new vehicle, there is no question of buying it without insurance. It is naturally bundled, we say. If we go back to say earlier years before this rule came into being, where we simply purchased a two-wheeler or a car and we made arrangement for taking insurance from a company of our choice. But today, you know, these showrooms which are selling these vehicles, two-wheeler or four-wheeler, have tie-ups with insurance companies. And as soon as the new vehicle is bought, insurance is tied up. It's a part of naturally bundled and it is given to the customer. That's why we say purchase of a vehicle with insurance is an example of composite supply. Remember this. Next, we have aeroplane and food served along with it. You know, one single bill. Now, obviously, if you are traveling long distance and if free food is made available in that, and in that case, it becomes an example of composite supply, because even if I want food, I cannot go outside the aeroplane while it is in transit. Remember this. So free food made available, we know, while inside an aircraft is an example of composite supply. Similarly, for that matter, free meals available as a part of package when we are traveling in long distance train as well. So all these are examples of composite supply. So we will come back again for more examples of composite supply with the help of clear-cut examples. So these are examples in pictures. We will have some examples written in words as well. A problem we will take. Let's move to the concept of mixed supply. Once again, understanding of mixed supply, I take say 3 items. I take item A, it is a taxable supply. Item B, a taxable supply. Item C is a taxable supply. Now I make a very, very critical point. 2 or more items made in conjunction for a single price. You are adding 2 or more items and you're giving it. Normally, these items need not be put together. These are the items which are usually sold separately. But the supplier is making a hamper and giving it. For example, the supplier is making a hamper of, let's say, detergent powder, washing soap, say a dishwasher, say a soap for bath, and other toiletries are made available, floor cleaners. All these are made available in the form of an hamper. Normally these items are sold separately, but if they are made as a gift hamper and sold at one single price, then such a supply is called as mixed supply. These are normally sold separately, but they are sold as a part of one hamper and no individual price per item, one single price. That will be treated as a concept of mixed supply. So rate of GST applicable will be the highest rate of items in the package. We have seen that already in the earlier slide. We will take an example. Say canned foods, 18% GST. I'm just writing the value for our understanding once again. So canned foods is 1,200 cost, 18% is the rate of GST. Cake is 1,000 rupees. Let's say GST rate is 28%, and say packaged fruit juices 12%. Say cost is around 500 rupees. Once again, I remind you, this is made as a form of a hamper. This is made as a form of a hamper, and 1,200 plus 1,000 plus 500 put together will be 2,700 rupees. The highest rate of GST for canned foods, it's 18, for cake it is 28, and for packaged fruit juice, let's assume it's 12%. So highest rate of GST in this example is 28%. So let's move ahead. 1,200 plus 1,000 plus 500. Bill is given for one single price. Breakup is not shown. Remember, in the earlier example for composite supply, For understanding, I had written separate values, but one price will be given. Similarly, in case of mixed supply, you will not be given a price item wise. One bill with just one item, hamper of say items, which can be given as gifts. A gift hamper, you can say. One single price is 2,700 rupees. And the highest rate of GST, as you can see, is 18, 28, and 12. Highest among the three is 28%. And that will be the rate of GST that will be applicable on this transaction value of 2,700. Let me remind you once again, we are talking about one single price in the bill. We are not talking about different prices in a bill. Remember this, one single price, that is 2,700. Only for understanding, I have written separate values for item A, item B, and item C. That's all. So let's look at a few examples of mixed supply. So let's look at a few examples of mixed supply. Here we have canned foods, here we have cake, and we have fruit juices put together. Just the example I had taken. Now, if the business is supplying a laptop along with a keyboard and along with a mouse, usually remember, keyboard and mouse is a pack of what I can say, with the laptop itself. Here you can find the keyboard. Sometimes mouse may be given as a complimentary. Sometimes mouse may be given as a complimentary, but it is usually not given. It is charged separately. So, but you have one single bill where laptop, the keyboard, and the mouse is given. That is an example of mixed supply, because these are all, though they are connected, but these are not normally bundled together, not naturally bundled together. These are normally separately bought by the, the recipient of goods. Because laptop already contains a keyboard over here. So separate keyboard is not required. If it is given as a complimentary, if mouse is given as a complementary, so that becomes an example of mixed supply. So usually it is not naturally bundled. That is the idea. That's why I have not included it under the meaning of composite supply. Then we have the razor, shaving cream, and aftershave gel for that matter. So that is also an example of a mixed supply. Normally razor is sold separately, shaving gel is sold separately, aftershave lotion is sold separately. But if you have a package, then it's an example of mixed supply. Then we have the washing powder, the detergent with a bucket free. Now, usually when you are buying a detergent powder, bucket is given as a complimentary, not every time. It is not naturally bundled. Remember this. So that becomes an example of mixed supply. Then we have an example of cement and paint. So we are buying cement, and if particular supplier is dealing in both the items, remember business vertical, different GSTIN. So cement he will register under one GSTIN, paint in another GSTIN, probably within the same state itself. So in that case, the combination of cement and paint supplied at one single price becomes an example of mixed supply, because these are not naturally bundled. Because cement you purchase, paint has no connection at all. But if these are combined and sold together at one single price, then that becomes an example of a mixed supply. So I hope this picture-based examples of both composite and mixed supply are clear. Now let's take a simple problem on mixed supply and composite supply. Let's understand. Classify the following supplies into composite supply and mixed supply. We have supply of oil in the can, supply of floor cleaner, soaps, washing powder, washing soap, and toiletries under one bill. Under one bill is given. So definitely clear idea, because floor cleaner is sold separately, soaps is sold separately, washing powder sold separately, washing soap separate, toiletry separate. Supply of oil in the cans is a clear-cut example of composite supply, because normally in tins, in cans, in drums, in barrels, oil is supplied. So that becomes an example of composite supply, the first one. Second one is a clear example of mixed supply. Supply of air conditioner and its installation, example of composite supply. Toothpaste and brush under one bill, example of mixed supply, because toothpaste and brush are normally sold separately. Laptop and accessories, clear example of composite supply. When I say accessories, I'm talking about charger, I'm talking about carry case. I'm not talking about a keyboard. I'm not talking about a mouse separately. Then supply of mobile phone with a charger is a composite supply. Cement and paint, we just saw the example mixed supply. Furniture and mat is an example of mixed supply, sold separately, but one single bill. Supply of combo packs of tie watch, wallet, pen, writing pad bundled together as one kit. Clear example of mixed supply. Laptop, mouse, and keyboard we just saw. An example of mixed supply. 2 soaps and 1 spoon free. So that's an example of mixed supply. So supply of shaving cream and razor, mixed supply. Restaurant with lodging is mixed supply. Supply of vehicle and insurance is composite supply. Air transport service and food on board is an example of composite supply. Hotel accommodation, auditorium, and food. So, presently this is the practice. You arrange for food. You want to conduct a program in a hotel. So at that time, when food is what the hotel owners charge. Auditorium is made available free of cost. So that becomes an example of composite supply. And accommodation only temporarily, only for that particular 4 hours or 6 hours, as mentioned in that terms of agreement between the hotelier and the client there. Then free laundry services to occupants of a hotel accommodation. This is also an example of mixed supply. Train services including free meals, composite supply. Construction material along with services of laborers, engineers, and architects is a clear example of mixed supply. Free bucket along with detergent is an example of mixed supply. So here we have the solution. Here we have the solution for all those items. So free laundry services is an example of composite supply because it's a part of their service. Almost all hotels do that, naturally bundled. So these are examples: supply of floor cleaner, washing powder, example of mixed supply, supply of toothpaste and brush, cement and paint, furniture and mat, combo pack, laptop, mouse and keyboard, 2 soaps and spoon, shaving cream and razor, restaurant with lodging, all construction material with services, and free bucket along with detergent supplied. All these are example of mixed supply. Oil, supply of oil in cans, AC and its installation, laptop and accessories, mobile phone with charger, vehicle and insurance, air transport service and food on board. Then we have combination of hotel accommodation, auditorium, and food is an example of composite supply. Free laundry service to the occupants of the hotel accommodation is a composite supply. And train service including free meals is a composite supply. So that's all we have in this particular session on GST in pictures, that is on composite supply and mixed supply. Thank you very much for your company. So if you have any questions, any related issues pertaining to that, feel free to put it in the comment box and I will be more than happy to answer all. So for the present time, thank you very much for your company. Till we meet again. Bye.